Welcome to AfterBuzz and Black Hollywood Live. We're back together again, doing the team up to cover episode 6, Value of Atlanta. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes.
Come on, y'all.
We got a mute. This is Dee's first time on the chat.
Oh my
you
God.
rookie.
I didn't type that, all right? This is
It's actually my.
I didn't type that many.
The reason you're hearing things is because we do have the live chat. So for those who are tuning in, get on there. We'll talk to you.
Yes.
Looking
Jeff
forward
said-
to it.
Oh, was I supposed to do that first?
Whoa, aggressive with the phone.
Was I?
Oh.
Totally an accident. My baby.
I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me every week at blackrealnerds.com and everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique. And this is my lovely panel.
What up, guys? Jeff Graham here. Thanks so much for tuning in once again. For those who are watching on AfterBuzz, thank you. For those who are watching on BHL, thank you. Tune into both. Sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not. It's a surprise every week. That's the best part. You guys can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham.
That was a great intro. My name's DeAnJilo. Follow me on Twitter at DeAnJilo TV. Follow me on Instagram at DeAnJilo. That's all I got. I'm going to echo what he says. Let's go to the left.
Hey, and like everybody else said, I'm so glad to be back with my family again, because this is who I was started with day one. But my name is Rhelin Taylor, and you can find me on Twitter at Ray Taylor Gang. And we can't forget.
Did you throw out a day one nigga reference right now off the break?
Like,
First
yeah.
of all, I'm here by myself on the couch representing AfterBuzz. Okay? By myself on the
Okay.
couch. You guys have set me over
Cross-platform
here,
beef.
and it's fine because I'm the always at home homie. The bathrobe heartthrob at I Am Terror. If you don't know, you should ask somebody that somebody should possibly be your girlfriend. Find me on IG, Snapchat, and Twitter at I Am Tehran, because I think, therefore, I am Tehran.
Wait. How long do we make it without a curse word in the episode? About 5 seconds before 10?
Yeah.
I think it was. I think we had a curse word before that until like.
What curse word? I simply dropped a reference as we are watching the show Atlanta.
Okay.
I am
reference?
a product of my environment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone.
I cannot.
If they're watching the show, they can handle a couple.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Except not from you, Jeff.
Except not
I just
from me.
want to throw that out there.
We learned that in
Whatever.
episode 1.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know before. If I have not watched the episode, I wouldn't have known. So
It's not true.
That is so
And you would have
true.
unfortunately
The
had to
white
get
rapper?
beaten down
No,
on
right?
TV.
There's just no way. Okay, so anyway,
You know
we are
what, Jeff?
here.
I like you so much, you get one pass.
I know.
Use it wisely.
No,
Definitely
you
not
did
on the
fine.
show.
Here's
I'm
the
going to
thing.
tell you
We'll
this
go
is like
outside.
joke.
If it's the rule, then you have to only be with him in a room. Like, I can't be around.
Lock the door.
Jeff, don't you dare. I will kick you out so fast.
This is definitely going to be a dope situation where he allows it, but all of us just slap you across the face like
Also-
we don't.
But I'll
Some of
still
our
like
fans-
forgive you after.
Yeah.
I will keep it on the
Some of
wide
my
just to
fans
come
ain't
I still
in.
love you.
They're not
Really?
feeling.
I
Well,
don't
you know what?
know.
Atlanta should hire me as a writer because that is a dope scene. It's
pretty
we should
funny.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
A lot
let's
of
go.
We'll co-write this.
We have a
script.
show on.
All right, we gotta talk about the show that we
Let's
just
get into
watched.
it.
We're having too much fun today. I'm not mad about it. We had a pretty Van heavy episode, which is
Yeah, we
super
did.
exciting because we've all been missing Van.
No,
We've been
not
talking
we
about
all.
her.
Hey.
Jeff has been missing Van.
That's because Van is amazing.
Van, what did I miss? I thought
Van
we
is
all-
big.
My girlfriend and I each have one cheat,
I love me.
and I've officially replaced my cheat.
She's so
Wait, who
good.
was your cheat
What was she
before?
Yeah.
The girl who worked at Rite Aid down the street. Guys don't have like a list like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? It would be the girl who was
news to me.
available at the time.
Girls have lots of lists for
I hope
different
she's not next door.
situations.
Thank you.
Dick I would ride, guy whose pocketbook I would use.
Whoa!
Like, it's
Whoa!
a list.
Real.
It's a list.
Joelle. Joelle.
Around.
Stop it.
She brought in an engineer and got that real.
But you did say that this was a Van heavy episode.
Yes.
And I think it was a Van heavy appearance episode, but we didn't really learn much about Van. I'm sorry. I don't think
we
it was
learned
that
a lot.
heavy.
I think we learned a lot.
Well, okay, all right. Well, let's visit that in the first scene because I feel like we got a lot from her and her friends. We were trying to decide friend or not friend. Where does everybody stand?
Everybody got a Jade. I
Yeah.
feel like
Nope.
I know
Not
a
one.
You
Jade.
are Jade.
I'm
What do you
not
mean
Jade.
everyone has a
That's
Jade?
an insult.
Really? It's
Wow,
Jade.
that's how
It's
I
not
feel.
an insult. It is a culture of women that exists in the black community that we have not been explored in the past. It is a culture of
But I'm
black
Jade.
women who
Wait, what aspect of Jade are you referencing?
and I'm talking
right now?
about remember when she talks about value and how she determines her value and her worth, and it's almost in a monetary lifestyle sense. There's an aspect of black women that do that, and it's true. And there's women across the board, but it's something that I've realized very new in the black community that I've seen in the past 20 years.
Instagram, what does she call her? Escort?
Instagram escort.
Yes, this is new and fascinating.
Yeah. So many thoughts. It's funny because I feel like it's easy to immediately hate Jade, but there are things I kind of like about Jade.
There's not one thing I like about
I like Jade because I do understand the whole thing, like the valuing yourself, because when you get to a certain level, I feel like you need to find a partner who has a certain level as you as well.
Jade's
I
not
told
finding
you.
partners.
I told you.
Because that's what she's saying when she's telling her, like, you know, you are too up here. She messing with her. Okay, so like, you know what I mean? So
no, I
kinda
hear what you're
understand.
saying, but I still feel like, look, Jade, to me, like, there's a weird thing about valuing yourself based off how other people look at you.
Right.
Sure.
Right. And if Jade stopped getting, right swipes, like, then she's like, is that the right way? I don't do the things, the dating app, whatever. But I feel like if she stopped getting hit up for like guys, then she would not see the value in herself. You know what I mean? And to me, that's weird and kind of a false value. It's a false currency to base yourself how other people see you.
I would like. She's definitely. She's a friend. Like I would say, she's a friend one. And then two, the aspect I do like about her is that she allowed Van to have fun. Like Van doesn't get that. You know what I mean? Like every person needs a friend.
you're not feeling
helps
Jade
you.
at all.
Now, did it go? No, here's the thing. Did it go too far a little bit? Like, obviously, yes.
She allowed Van to have fun on her terms.
Yeah.
She's
No
a
doubt.
frenemy at best.
At
She's
best,
definitely
yeah.
not a friend. This is not someone who's supportive of Van or anything. Van's lifestyle is occurring. She was judgmental from the get-go. There was clearly tension between the two. They were what a lot of girls interact with when they're competitors. They are not friends on the
But that doesn't make it
foolishness
not
to
a
me.
friend. I mean, like, I just
Sure,
say,
it does.
I mean, I think a lot of girls are like that, and they like would call those
Oh,
friends
God.
like ride or dies. I know girls like that.
Okay,
a
no.
lot of
No,
places.
let me-
So,
And
like,
see, here's the thing, like,
But-
this whole idea of a frenemy is so foreign to me, and I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, because I've definitely seen women who are like, who, you're right, just want to compete with each other, and that's kind of what gets them on. That's where their whole relationship is, like, founded on. But it doesn't make sense to me to have relationships like that.
Yeah,
like,
see,
I
that's
can't
what I'm
connect.
saying. I know of a Jade, but never will I let a Jade come in and be like, this is my bestie. Like, no.
No,
Like,
like,
you know,
I
I
hardly
will
know
come
you.
into contact with a Jade, but I'm not gonna go have lunch, and we're not gonna meet up for Starbucks
Right.
and have pumpkin spice lattes.
That's
'cause
maybe
it's in
because
season.
you and your friends might be a group of Jades.
No,
Have you ever thought about that? Like you guys
should
value.
listen about
Listen,
her.
I'm on
Coming
your
for her
Instagram.
life.
I look at your Instagram. I'm actually a fan. I'm a Rhelin fan. I like how she handles herself.
Ray Taylor
but
gang.
At the same time, true Taylor gang. But at the same time, I also see a difference in lifestyle and things that you value and things that you. And as you stated very clearly off the top. Right? That you said there is a value, and once you get to a certain level, then you can only be with a man who has that and more. Well, you've negated one of the most important aspects, which is a connection or a love. But you're saying, well, I will clearly be connected as long as the man has this, and this. And I've seen that, and it's part of the club culture. If you go to a Hyde on a Sunday or a One Oak on a Tuesday, you see a room full of girls who are a room full of Jades. And it's no offense to you. It's not actually. I don't think it's a good or bad thing or
think
moral
it's
thing
just
like
me.
Joelle does. I just think it is a thing that we need to be aware of, and I haven't seen anyone approach it. And I'm glad that Atlanta at least attempted to do so.
Let me say this before the trolls come out and eat me alive. I don't look, no, because I can respect. Look, what I respect about the girls who appear to be Jades, the ones that are like when makeup games are on point, I can respect it. It's an art and it's beautiful. When you care a lot about your body and you don't care about and you like sexually free and you're comfortable like going from one person, cool, totally respect that. The things that bother me about Jaden are like. The fact that she suggests a hairstylist that is clearly going to be out of her price range and says to fix her as though she didn't come in looking beautiful as hell. Like these kinds of things. The fact that she has to tear this girl down in order to make herself feel better.
Yeah.
The fact that she places her value in how strictly just men see her. How the fact that she, like, and look, and I can identify with the aspects of Jaden too. Like the whole, like, no, I flew private. I mean, it was rent a private. I will pull that. Like, I'll hate myself as I'm saying it too. I'll be like, damn it, Joelle, reel it in. Like, not cool.
Yeah.
But I I'm really not really a fan of that aspect.
Yeah.
So all of these things in one person makes me not want to be around this specific person.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say though. So I think there's an element of Jade valuing what men think about her, but I also think there's an element of Jade like getting hers. And like
That's what I relate to.
I know, and that's what Darius is talking about too. Like there's an element of empowerment, and she's wielding it in the wrong way.
She does live the dream
But,
where
like,
she said she hasn't worked a job where she
I
hasn't
know.
been inspired,
And,
like,
like,
encouraged to smoke weed. So, you know.
I think like thematically, this show is hustle. Like each of these characters is hustling their own way, and Jade is kind of
graham cracker.
You
Get
know, like she's kind of
Bars.
yeah. I think she's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Bars.
But she's kind of getting hers, and like I think the elements of Jade that we're supposed to, it's like this douchey YouTube guy from episode 3.
Yeah.
Zan.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing of like that conversation was the grossest thing I've ever seen in the very first scene, but there's elements of Jade's approach to life that I think we can admire.
But it's not like the grossest thing. It's actually, there is some value to the words that she spoke. Now, what we should pay attention to is the kind of guy that Jade's going for. It's not just a wealthy guy. It's a guy who's wealthy and has spotlight on him. It's an NBA player, NFL player, artist. These are the guys she's going for. She's not going for the wealthy doctor or the wealthy, even the friend who was a lawyer, you could tell he was the NBA lawyer. He wasn't just a regular professional, well-off professional. So she likes that lifestyle. And if she likes that on her own, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging Jade for being Jade. I am judging the fact that Jades exist, and people like Joelle tried to deny their existence or separate themselves from their existence, like you're better than they are, or they're better.
I don't think I'm better, but I would not choose to live or entertain those same circles. And it's fine. Again, like there are aspects of Jade that I can appreciate, and we can even see it in Van. The fact that like they want the same, like they're
you
each
two even
lives.
look like a Van and a Jade right now. Like if you really look at it and like squint your eyes really hard, it's like the hair. Look at the hair, because she brought up the hair because she said he could fix those roots. Her problem with Van's hair was the fact that it was natural and it wasn't relaxed. And that's the thing. And the concept was that the hairstylist could fix her, right? Because that's what Jade's idealistic, systematic approach of perfection is.
Exactly. And the idea of perfection, I could go on for this for days, but we gotta talk about it in the reference of the show. Van and Jade, I think, really want each other's lives, aspects of each other's lives. And that's kind of, I think, the thing that sets them off. Like, as much as they are not kind of connecting, it's clear, like, Van would love to take off and, like, go to Paris or have fun or whatever. And Jade kind of is like, I think about having a kid, but then I'm like, nah. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, which is thing people say, and some people believe it, but I feel like maybe Jade wouldn't mind settling down if she found the right person. But
she's bored of artificiality.
Well, maybe. But she's definitely got, like, but she found a way to get hers and to leave that. In order to have a child, she'd have to leave that. And I think she's not maybe prepared to do that. So then, of course, we get to the scene where Jade's like, come on, smoke with me. And I love the fact that Van can be bribed with weed. I just really liked, she put up like a 2-second fight before in her head she was like, no, this is happening. We saw her crack the smile and she was like, yes. They smoked elephant, which is great. It means you can't move. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Van didn't confide, like, and this is the thing that made me think they're not friends, like, they didn't confide in each other at all. Like, she didn't tell her about Ern and, like, what they're going through. She was just kind of defensively saying, like, oh, it's not what you think, but without ever really talking about it.
I feel like she kind of judges Ern because she's like, you're still seeing him? So I feel like she doesn't really approve of her. She wants her to be dating a
You
NBA
feel
player.
that? It's not a feeling.
Okay,
she's
well,
like,
she said it.
Yeah, it's
so
not a
she
feeling.
said that, you know, she's not really feeling Ern. She needs to mess with the higher ups. So I don't think that's why she's probably not going to confide in her too much.
And it also gives perspective on why Van is so hard on Ern. Because, like, that's kind of what's happening on the other side of her life. That's why I say we learned about her, because like we kind of got perspective on maybe why she put so much pressure on him, or like why she's counting on him, because maybe like I'm guessing this is like her, you know, friend that she grew up with like forever, and like she's doing this, and I mean I would say I saw a level of jealousy out of Van, and you're not jealous unless you actually want something you see in them. So maybe just the comfortability, the financial comfortability, like she definitely like kind of desired that.
Well, that's because Van comes from what you could tell from the episode is that Van came from a different lifestyle that was a little bit better.
Right.
She's from New York is something we kind of found out today that we didn't know, that she's not actually from Atlanta. So that's one of the aspects that I did find about Van. But other than that, I don't feel like there was a deep actual character development of Van as a person. I found out about Van's satellite lifestyle, but I don't know anything more about Van as a person except that she was culpable and bribed with weed. Yeah. That's it. Like, and I didn't actually appreciate that. I didn't appreciate that because the first chance that I got to learn about Van, I found out that she is slightly irresponsible.
I like that.
Love irresponsible people.
I know. Like, to me, it's consistent with all of the character development we've seen on this show. Like, I don't think we've ever had a huge revelatory moment with any of these characters.
I would agree.
It's all these really subtle decisions that create something almost more complex.
Which I think is a really great commentary on millennials and how, like, you know, we didn't for the most part, we don't go out and start families. We start like friend groups and circles and have roommates, and we're navigating.
We create identities.
Yeah, and those identities are based strictly off of who we follow or who's following us. So I like this idea that we discover more about people based off of who they're interacting with and how they interact with people.
Wait, sorry to jump in, but
no, go for it.
We don't have to do it now, but we have some good like questions on the live chat, so we can get to it whenever y'all want. But just
yeah, excellent. We're almost done, like, because like not a lot happened in this episode. I like Al and V together. They're like kind of almost sibling conversations is how it felt to me, or like cousins. I don't know how you guys picked up on the two of them talking.
No, I feel like they've had prior discussions before, like, you need to stop messing with Ern because you are distracting him from whoop de whoop whoop whoop, and but I feel like it was like really irony for her to call him because he's like, girl, what you doing calling me?
I like that he kept calling her out on being
losers,
sloppy.
It's for losers.
See, I should have was golden.
I found it interesting because you were saying that she wouldn't confide in Jade and vice versa. She didn't confide in Ern.
Oh, yeah.
No,
like, she did not ask
I
Ern.
thought that she would too.
And she didn't because she wants to be the role model for Ern and doesn't want Ern to know that she slips too. And that's what it came. She did not tell Ern. She did not let Ern know that she had partaken in weed, which he wouldn't have been upset. He's clearly part of this lifestyle.
Do you think he would have like took that as a pass to go like, that's that?
He doesn't need a pass. He's been doing anything he wants regardless. Like, he doesn't need more of a hall pass than he already has. So the only thing that we could deduce from that is the fact that Van likes to be perfect in front of Ern because she thinks he's perfectly like imperfect all the time.
I think Van probably likes to be perfect all of the time. Like, we don't really understand a lot of the situation behind her giving birth, but everything we've seen from her, like, she can't confide in anyone until the end of the show when she finally tells the principal or her senior that she smoked weed. She's constantly on everybody about upping their game and making sure they do better. But when that's turned around, it's an impossible standard to hold up to. It's kind of one of the things I like about her. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's just because I can identify or because it just feels like such a real flaw to have to want to obtain a level of greatness to try to do better. But, you know, especially when you're hanging, like as we were saying before, the people you hang around when they're like, you know, having fun and kicking back, like Jade, it's infectious.
Jade's
like, get in
not
his car,
having
have fun. Like,
I don't think that's the concept. Like, see, it's easy to think that flying to London and New York is having fun, but it's not. It's actually work. It's kind of like when people don't realize when you go to the club, when you just go to the club there, it's fun. But if you are a club goer, that's not fun. Like, you go to the club, there's actual work involved, whether it's the way you look or the way you act or the way you are or the way you interact. There's a power struggle and manipulation that goes on in club culture or high lifestyle culture that a lot of people don't realize because in the Instagram, it always looks great and fun.
But that's what I'm saying.
But to get there is a lot of hustle.
But that's what I'm saying. But viewing it Van as she is viewing it from the outside, from the inside out, like just exploring, like to her, like, let me go have fun in this car. Let me go to this listening party. Let me just smoke, like, whatever. Like, let me chill with my girl like I used to before I had responsibilities, before I had to do things. And that is going, I think that's very infectious, just to want to slip into a different identity and to escape the amount of responsibility. Like, Van has a lot. Like, and she's right. If she's not perfect, like, what happens next? Like Ern's not, in her opinion. Like, we see Ern and we've had talks about, like, is he hustling? Is he not? Is he, you know, we saw last week that he was able to accomplish a lot when put in front of the right people. But she doesn't know that because she doesn't confide in him, because she doesn't trust him, because she only trusts herself. which is again just a major character flaw. She only trusts herself to be able to
And
succeed.
also the numbers don't show that. Like he's not putting
Right.
up the money.
You
to
can't
show
blame
that.
her.
So what did she say? She even said in an episode, if I lose my job, what are we gonna do? Like I can't lose my job. I am the financial provider of this family, and so we don't see that from Earn. We don't see him financially providing for his part of the responsibility. Even though we do see that he's a caring father.
We do get that moment in here,
That
which
was
is super sweet. Dads are my kryptonite, guys. I'll follow you.
It's so funny when a dad does the littlest thing. Everyone's like, "Oh my
true.
God, that's so sweet." He's supposed to do that. He's
I know.
her father. That's what.
Can't
When
help
mom
it.
does everything, it's like, yeah, well,
Our ovaries
can't believe she
explode.
smoked
We
last
can't
night.
do
Like, yo.
anything.
mom.
I cannot.
Do we have?
Um,
Yeah, what do
Sorry.
you got? Oh.
No, I actually wasn't gonna say. You go, actually.
No, I was just saying, like, is a live chat popping? Like, what's going
we
on?
got
We
like
got
a
in
hell
there.
of questions.
Going
Trying
down.
to
That's
get,
a
trying
lot.
to get the
Going
fans
down.
on. All right, we got like two good ones that I really like. The first one is kind of interesting. It might be lost in the shuffle of the episode. So
Who's it from? Who's it from?
this is by Sean. Sorry if I say the last name wrong. Callowell.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean asks, what do you think was the significance of the white face, or do you think it was just supposed to be funny?
That's great.
That's a really good
That's a
question.
great question.
You
I
guys
like the
wanna
way it's
take it?
worded.
The
The problem with Atlanta is I do think a lot of the time they are just trying to be funny. And like these choices they make have huge implications, but I don't know if the writers are like, we're doing this because. I think they're kind of just like, we are doing this.
I can only tell you how it came off to me, which is like
I was
kids-
offended, first of all.
Get out of here. Kids get bored and do stupid stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't think that kid had any idea other than, like, I'm gonna cause some mischief today.
Yeah.
Like, the teacher even said, like, he's gonna catch holy hell. Like, you have to take care of this for me, or I'm gonna hurt him, and that's not gonna be good for anybody. And his smile was just so, like, I'm having fun, like, making
It was so
trouble.
funny to me.
Yeah. No, I think it's just a little kid who was like, oh, this causes controversy, which actually had to make me pause about these kids doing blackface, which always just enrages me, but also, like, are you just being a dick?
Yeah.
Like, are you just having
His
fun
face,
being
like
a
his
dick?
face is ingrained in my mind. Like, how
Yeah, I
the
know.
facial
When you said
expression
that, I
is.
was like, oh.
You know what?
Kinda
What I
freaked
kind of
out.
think is this. It was the last thing we saw, and there was something kind of spooky about, like, an African-American woman getting fired for not really doing anything, and then a white kid getting sent to a black kid getting sent to detention. And it's almost like I viewed it as like a racial power thing.
Man,
Like,
I
there's-
did not pick that up at all.
I don't.
Yeah.
I might be reading way too much into it, but I kind of viewed it as like there's still this hugely there's still this huge imbalance where like a hardworking teacher gets fired for a mistake.
Even after her boss admits, like, oh, everybody does that, almost implying that she does it as well. But being like, but
I
he
know.
said it in the confines of my office where nobody will know.
That scene, holy crap!
it was
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
Wait, but before we move forward, Tron, do you have whiteface thoughts?
I do. So when it comes to whiteface, it's actually very interesting that this is the week that they chose to air this episode with the whiteface. So coming off news of kids in Florida who came to school wearing KKK outfits, and none of them were white, actually. It was two Middle Eastern kids and a Hispanic. And also Brian Ebe in Texas, who went to school on Decades Day wearing a slave outfit. Everyone usually goes to Decades Day dressed as a hippie or someone with a fro, and he chose slavery as the decade, and he was suspended from school and sent home because he refused to change because it made everyone feel uncomfortable. That's kind of what the whiteface did. It was something to make the other kids feel uncomfortable. It was actually very smart because it was like it was actually a dichotomy of what was going on with Van. The Van we saw was twofold, right? The responsible Van who's like almost selling out in a lot of ways. And then there's a part of her that still wants to be mischievous and fun and irresponsible that we saw for the first time and maybe the only time. Then on the flip side, we got to see this kid who is like put on whiteface and very smug with himself, is black on the inside, like it's black but with the white face.
Right.
And he gave that smug white smile. It was actually a white smile.
What do you mean?
It was white privilege.
Damn, Jeff.
His smug white smile was a bit of white privilege. It was very interesting.
smug
It's like a dichotomy
white
of it.
smile.
And so I just thought it was very socially relevant
Yeah.
that this was the week that it was released, and this is the week it just happened to happen. And as far as like the white face goes, was it very relevant to the entire episode? No, and very much yes.
Yeah, that's how everything that
That's what they
happened.
do.
Like
That's what they do.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely-
Wait, one more question.
Yeah.
I want trying to get the fans keep commenting, guys. Firstly, I see a lot of comments in here, but one more interesting question. I thought I can say this name too. Wesley Simpson.
Hey, Wesley.
Nailed it.
So Wesley. He said, "Do you think Van seeing the picture of the girl in Ern's phone played any role in her not saying anything about the situation she was going through?"
Did it happen before or after?
It happened before. So she was already getting Alfred's number, which is why she had the phone. She had no intention of telling Ern, or we would have probably seen her do so up to that point. So she was already getting the thing. What it does show, I feel like, is that any woman is still a woman. Like, she had a chance to go through the phone. She went through the phone to validate what Jade had implanted in her head, the Inception thought. It's just like the movie. Don't you think
right.
Ern is running around, and she was like, "Oh, you don't think I pick up the phone and tongue down my throat and trying to act harder and more tough than she really was," and then goes and just validates it. And it wasn't a very significant picture, and we don't have a backstory to it, but we did feel the split second of jealousy and hindrance on Van's part as she saw it.
We get a lot from Van too, just in these small moments of like, what are we going to do? And that Ern, she still feels like Ern is her responsibility, which I find really interesting, because I really didn't feel like in that moment she was talking about her and her baby. She's talking about them as like a familial unit. And it's intriguing to me how much Van wants to be with him, despite how much it also feels like she wants to slap him most of the time. Even like I don't know, even with the kid and stuff, like, it seems like again, the white face becomes more relevant to me now, because we get like a lot of masks with Van, which is something like a lot of women have to do, just as far as like code switching based off of who you're talking to. And it's weird to me that she feels she has to do it with her friend. It's upsetting to me that she has to do it with her partner. And it's upsetting even more that she can't even go to work and like just be herself. Like, preschool teachers smoke so much weed, guys. Like, an insane amount of weed. Like, preschool teachers go to work high, leave, get high, go to sleep, get high, like, constantly just weed. It really isn't a big deal for teachers. And the fact that she lost her job over just wanting to be honest for once, like, in the time that we saw her.
She didn't want to be honest. She got caught up.
She had to be honest, but she finally reached a point where she could be honest.
She reached a point where she's just like, F it, there's nothing else I can do. So the whole important part of that scene where everyone's like, oh, she got fired and blah, there's like a line. There's always a line in every single episode. And the line in this episode, in my opinion, was when she said, get over it. The system's not meant for anyone to succeed. So that was the whole line. Like, the system isn't meant for these kids to succeed. You need to get over that. Like, that thought, and that right there is like that part.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Schoolboy, come on, schoolboy Q.
Can we talk about the line, it's on the hair?
Oh my God! I saved it for the end for
we
this
can wait.
reason. No. It's we're getting there. So we just dirty diapers grossed me out, guys, and we all saw it. And I don't know if we need to talk about it.
Also, have the baby pee. Like,
that was like, I was like,
dang.
Just get the training potty and then dump. Like, you never gonna touch it.
Desperate
that's where it keeps it warm.
Call for desperate measures.
Look, here's
ladies
all
and
I
gentlemen.
know about.
I was rooting for it.
Me too. I was like empowered. I was
on
edge.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Like,
yeah,
she's
she's such a
stressed me
badass.
out, and I can't even speak about it.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I'm so stressed.
Yeah, it was
everything that happened.
I agree. Like, going through the garbage to like not taping it in the right place. I was afraid it was gonna fall the whole time. I'm like, I don't even think that's really sturdy.
I thought when she was like power walking through them halls, I was like, girl, that condom about to drop.
And then chewing on in the thing.
Yeah, she should have opened the container, put the condom bag of pee inside it, and then opened it.
Have you done this before, Taylor?
I am a fan of something called common sense.
Yes.
And so whether I've done something or not, I know
so
how
bad.
things kind of work typically.
The bra is great. It keeps it at body temperature. When they actually drug test you, they're going to test the temperature of the thing. Like, it's just so many missteps. So many, like, things that just feel like they should be obvious. Like, bring a pin to just pop the thing. You got to make the peeing sound because somebody's outside to hear you. Like, there's just a lot of steps you just did not follow, and it just brought me right to the edge. It's very frustrating. But yes, okay, so we have several hairlines in here. We kind of talked about Jade saying he will fix your edges, or fix those roots, which...
What's wrong with her roots? There's nothing wrong with her roots.
It's like aunties and grandmas being like, he's a little relaxer. Relaxer will help with the texture. You know, it came out my head this way. It's good. I have a lot of strong feelings about this because I wear my hair naturally. For those of you listening, yes, and it was a great transformation. It was fun and amazing, and so like it really irked, especially when you hear from Black women, and you do hear from Black women a lot, just being like, you can fix your hair, like, no, and then to hear it from a professional and to say it's all in your hair. In other words, the idea that you smoke because you wear your hair naturally, or that you're some kind of druggie because your hair is naturally. I do smoke. I do wear my hair natural. They are not the same thing.
Hold on, that's
They're
what
not
you
connected.
took from that?
I
she
took
said
it different.
It's all in your hair, as in, I can tell you're a smoker because of your hair?
You wear, yeah. She says you're like, it's all out there. It's all in your hair. Like this whole idea.
I think
that
she
you're
meant the
all
smell
things.
of loud. She said it's so loud, as in like smoking loud. So maybe there's a double entendre. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
it was just like the
possible.
weed smell is soaked up in your hair. That's what happens when you smoke. You smell like you just smoked. You can tell
I've
someone
hotboxed
smoked.
several cars, and I feel like my hair next day after a shower, not so bad.
Joe, I want to tell you something. You smell like weed.
Okay, that's
like if you're around other weed smokers, they also don't smell it. But like for someone like me, I can smell people, and they smell like weed constantly. And the way our hair texture is, it soaks in smell very, very strongly and
disagree.
well.
See, I took it a
Disagree
third way.
strongly.
I literally thought she was talking about the pee. And here's what I thought. I think she was like, oh, I've seen this before, people trying to do the condom pee thing. You're not the first person to spill pee in your hair.
But we
That
do
would
know
be
that
crazy.
loud
Oh, that's-
refers to
Loud means weed.
Yeah.
Y'all
loud
know
means
that.
weed,
It
like
does.
good
Yeah, it
weed.
does.
So
That's what I thought.
she was like, "Yo, it's so loud."
Yeah.
I mean, she could have meant like it's loudest in your
Loudest.
ears,
Thanks,
huh?
Alexis.
But I think that it goes. I can't see what Alex because I'm on the couch
Alexis
by
tells me
myself.
my hair smells
What-
great because
Alexis
she's a
is our
beautiful human
engineer.
being.
Yes.
Alexis has never
let
smelled
everybody
your hair.
know.
Here's the
What
thing.
smells all the time? You don't know my life, Teron.
Excuse you. Don't tell me what I
All
do.
I'm saying.
Don't even try this.
All I'm saying is this. Okay, so what kind of shampoo does she use, Alexis?
Well, I thought it was like Shea Moisture or something like that, but that's me.
You're so close, girl.
I use
so
Shea
close.
Moisture too.
All the
Yo,
coconuts.
she's being racist. She just assumed the black girls would
We're
wear Shea
friends.
Moisture.
I
She
about
was
hair
right.
products
Yes,
before.
she
That's
was
the
right.
reason
She
why I brought that up.
She was right.
It
was She was
Yo,
right.
that's like,
mansplain
that's like
right
me being
now.
like, DeAnJilo,
Don't
what kind of
Don't do
lotion
it.
do you
Don't
use?
do it.
Let me
Don't do
guess.
it. Don't do
Cocoa
it.
butter.
Don't do it.
Of course he
I
uses
do use
cocoa
cocoa
butter.
butter.
See,
Of
I was
course
gonna
you
say
do. Look
Jergens,
at
but
you.
all right.
But that's
I
not
was gonna say
racist.
Jergens.
Jergens, that's why you're Jade.
You know what? This
See?
is why Tayron isn't
I
allowed
like
on the show
Nivea.
anymore.
Teron's just gonna
Actually,
Godzilla
gonna-
all
you know
the women
what?
on the
Oh,
show
man.
today.
Tayron's not allowed on the show anymore. We good.
You guys,
We good.
you guys,
know what?
You guys are here. This is me
have
in
a
whiteface right now.
You can have your show by yourself next time. Host it. You know, I know you like to talk. So.
Hostile.
So yeah, Atlanta, what are we talking about?
Oh my god,
Who
so
knows?
amazing. Do we have other questions in the chat? This was just
I
really
know.
fast, and we did not get a lot more.
I
on
want to.
the
Can I
end.
bring up something
Yes,
really
you
quick?
can, of course.
Structurally, this episode was fascinating. There
Exactly.
were 4 scenes there was 4 act breaks, and each act break was 1 scene.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Glover wrote and directed this episode. First of all, direction was great.
Yeah.
Did you notice that when we're talking to Van after Ern walks in,
His back, it was a shadow.
it was a 1 shot with no cuts for like a minute and a half.
True.
The editing, props to Donald Glover for a very well directed episode. I think this was his first time directing, so
It would kind
not
of-
directing ever, but this
Yeah, this
show.
show.
This episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was. And we've talked a lot before about, we're not a lot, but we talked right before the show about comparing kind to Mr. Robot. Like, Mr. Robot doesn't feel the need to abide by any typical television rules.
Right,
Like,
effects in general.
yeah,
They
truly.
just- American Horror Story.
But that's what they're going for. That's what they're going for. And
Right.
with the act breaks, something that happened is like it was very engaging because it definitely made you watch through because it ended in a place you didn't think it would end. There
Right.
was no. Usually, TV gives you cues. They give you cues on how to think, how to feel. They play music. They play background. It's sunny. It's dark. This show does not do that,
Right.
and this episode especially did not do that. It gave you the facts, and you were allowed to judge on your own.
how it
Yeah.
So it didn't play in the background to make you think this way or that way, except in the opening scene with Jade and Van when the song came on. It's like, "Are you really happy?"
George
and it
Benson,
played and it like
Masquerade.
exactly, and it played that just for like an effect. It played for an effect, but other than that, that's what it is. So these commercial breaks were actually there to remind you this is just a TV show.
Yeah.
Like it's just a TV. Hey guys, before you get too stressed like DeAnJilo, because he was biting nails. This is just
I'm still
like you
over
would
it.
have thought that was
still over
like you were about to take that drug test. This is just a TV show, which made it even more art. Because when art imitates life so well that you think it's life, that's when it's amazing.
Lessons with Tehran today. We're just getting like, we gotta bring every time Tehran comes on the show, we gotta get a notepad and like write down
There's
everything.
one more thing I wanted to talk about. The episode title is called Value, right?
Yes.
And so we hear how Jade values herself, but how do you guys think that Van values herself, and if so, how?
Damn.
The
I
whole-
don't even
this
know
whole-
because I
I
don't
know.
know her like that. Like, I only know a little glimpse.
Exactly.
So I don't know how she feels about herself. I only know, like, who she hangs out with, who she's dealing with now.
I
and
think
I have
she
to make
obviously has some
judgments off of that.
She obviously has some insecurities for her to felt jealous about her friend, but like, I think everybody like has
Insecurity,
something like
yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean she doesn't value herself.
I think she has a lot to learn. I mean, like, I feel like she's between a rock and a hard place. Like, she does have a kid, and like Urine isn't providing. I don't know. I mean, like, this whole idea of value, especially within the context of the show. I mean, the whole theme is like Paperboy got famous by saying he's all about that paper. Like, like I think value is another huge thing. Like, what's everyone's currency? Because that's all life is you offer some kind of currency and it buys you stuff, and it's not always money.
I just think that Van is just, like, when she said in the episode when they went on the date that she's just trying to give her child the resources that she needs in order to survive. I
Right.
think that right now maybe she's not too worried about value. She's worried about,
Her kid.
yeah,
But
and just
that
making it work
in
and
itself
staying afloat.
Is a value. See, everyone thought of value as like a currency, but that was not all value is, as Jeff was trying to get to.
I guess she values herself as a mother.
This
for her
whole
child.
episode
Yeah.
was
So-
about value. So Jade began starting off about value, having value. What she thought self-value was monetary gain and things that you can get from other people. Then we fast forward to Van valuing her job enough to do things that were almost disgusting and despicable in a way to get there, right? Then we also saw what her value was towards Earn, her value of her family, her value of what fun is. And then we also saw another double entendre, which is actual values. What do you find morally right and wrong? And we saw those things all come to play. So it was like a very interesting play on words, in my opinion. I'll end it with that because, even though I'm stating it because it is factual, but it's in my opinion. All I need is a pipe. Why don't I
He
have a
thinks,
pipe?
therefore he is.
Bro,
terrible.
why don't I have a pipe right now? Like,
Yeah,
We got a comment on the computer that says Tehran was the kid with the white face.
maybe, but you know what? That just means I'm the most influential part of this episode. Again.
thank you, East
Ta-da!
Blue Drew, for your
East-
comments.
We like you, East Blue.
I like
You
this
did.
comment a lot. I really like how everyone in this episode was being called their
Yeah.
hypocrisy like Paperboy.
Also East Blue Drew.
We're finally putting a microscope on every character.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Everybody's
getting
flawed.
ready. This might be moving to predictions a little bit.
That's cool.
Do we want to cover anything else before?
No, we're good.
I feel like we got. I missed Darius this episode, but you can't get
I
it all.
did
You
miss
can't have everything.
Darius.
I kind of wish you had called Darius for
Darius
advice.
was in this episode.
Where was he?
He's
He
on
was
the
the
couch right
kid
over there.
who was wearing whiteface
Oh,
and
God.
Spirit.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
right.
all right.
That was a Darius-esque move.
I agree with that, though.
So this is like a little. Well, so we're okay.
Yeah, moving into predictions.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And now.
And now.
Your
AfterBuzz
AfterBuzz
predictions.
team. So one thing I would like to see more in this show. This isn't so much a prediction, but I do feel like we're talking about characters being called out for hypocrisy. We're talking about putting characters under the microscope. I think I am ready for like a little more stuff to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Conflict?
I'm ready for a little bit more plot. Like, this is such a character-driven show, which I love. But like, we haven't seen a ton of change. Like, I wouldn't say it's a very dynamic show.
Okay.
So I think I'm ready.
Right.
We never,
don't
we
think we're
watch
gonna
an
get that.
episode and we never, move on up
Yeah.
to, the next level. It's just kind of like, oh,
Which
here's
I'm
another-
okay with. I haven't
Yeah.
been bored yet. And
Right.
I really, the show's so interesting.
Yeah, but you just
like,
think, for example, last week, I honestly thought, okay, this week, he got those business cards last week. We
Yeah.
about to go in and get some money. And I'm like, oh, wait, we're not doing it.
But
They
this
even
might,
week.
they
though-
might not write that way. They might.
I
they
know.
might-
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
show
Don't
is
do,
linear
you know?
only because time moves forward, but it's not specifically connected. So
Right.
the last episode does not truly impact the next episode.
Yeah.
So
Just
next
separate
episode, we
stories.
may not even know what the repercussions of Van losing her job were.
Exactly.
We fast forwarded through time. It's almost like some type of one of those Doctor Who episodes. You're just going right through,
Right.
we're jumping forward,
it's
leap
not
forward.
serialized, really.
Exactly. So we may be in the midst of Van have already lost her job, and now they're on EBT, or she got a new job already, or who knows what's gonna happen,
Right.
or we don't even
We
hear
won't see
about
her for
Van
3
at all.
episodes.
Yeah.
They're short stories. Each
Yeah.
episode's really its own
Yeah.
short story.
Yeah.
But I think I
Fable. I like to use the
Fables.
term fable. They
I like
are
that.
fables.
Or parables almost even.
It's a serialized episodic series, which is interesting in that they don't really push what's going to happen, but what is happening.
Yeah.
It's a very in the moment kind of show.
Yeah.
Which again I like, and I think is is almost a message to millennials. Like, you know, take a step back and like
Right.
look around and see what's happening. Yeah, I somebody made a comment earlier, CCF freak. I never know where the show is going until the credits roll, and I agree with that. Like, I really thought we might have another, like, a 5th act in this
Yeah.
episode, and then they, like, maybe she goes back and talks to Ern or something. Nope, they were just like, and done. White face over. Which is interesting. For predictions, I really need something to happen between Ern and Van. Like, the tension between those two, it lays me out. I'm ready for anything. Literally anything between the two of
But
them.
that's
happen.
what makes this show great, is it doesn't cater to you as the audience.
Yes.
The show's driving force is the show.
Right.
So it doesn't, you wanting something to happen, it plays no part.
I still
I
want it, though.
feel like I'm ready for it though. Like I feel like at a certain point, tackling a theme each episode, I don't know if I'm buying it as like TV. Like I'm loving it as like thematic experiences or maybe short films, but like I'm a little ready
You
for a
don't think it
TV
pushes?
show.
That's
But
what
look,
it
here's
is,
the
Jeff.
thing: is what
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
I'm really valuing about TV as a medium right now is that we completely don't have to adhere to the standard rules of TV.
Right.
But we're not seeing it done on, we have cable. I think cable. I think of HBO. I think of network. I think of like ABC, and FX is somewhere in the middle of that.
It's like premium excess. Yeah. I know.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel like not a lot of networks are taking chances like these guys are doing with their show lineup. And I'm excited by it. Like, yes, I still want things. Yes, I still, I predict and hope for certain things, but the journey is so fascinating that even if it fails, at least it's something new. Even if it doesn't, like in the end, I'm like, I don't get what happened here. I really need to, because they gave it to Donald Glover, who's like an actual artist, and is like, I'm just gonna try some things and I'm gonna be honest to my perspective. And I think that's just really fascinating.
So what were the predictions?
I mean, that's the thing. I think the discussion we're having right now shows that you can't. There's no thread.
I have a prediction.
What's that?
I mean, we can't.
Tehran.
I have a prediction.
Tehran.
You guys,
I have a one.
I'm on my DeAnJilo prediction. I'm just going
God.
to say something really vague, and then when it happens, I'm going to be like, I called that. I said they were going to have someone from Atlanta
Is this your
on the
prediction?
show.
Because you're not predicting
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
You kind of just.
I'm just letting you know. I felt.
The shade in this room is so strong.
I think that.
We're on Jade. I'm Jade.
What is your prediction? You just did all
No,
that.
my prediction
Shade
is.
like Jade.
My prediction is.
Thank you.
My prediction is that this episode won't be as. It will be more defining than we realize right now. So Van losing this job will be something that, because usually it doesn't carry over. I actually think this is going to be something that is dissected. And if not the next episode, the following episode after that, this will actually play a very pivotal role. Maybe it'll give Ern the motivation that he needed to be like, I have to do something. Maybe Ern will be pushed in the wrong direction in order to do something. Whatever it is, something's going to happen. This is the ticking time bomb you guys have been sitting and like we've all been waiting for.
See, you want to see it too. That's the thing. We can admire the really self-contained formula, but I think all of us are itching a bit to see these characters go somewhere.
Well, I just like conflict.
Yeah.
like,
I know.
like, I just
Like
really
drama.
enjoy drama. And
Right.
what I like about the show so far is they've set it up so that when they do like the match, boom. Like, like whatever's gonna happen. Like, and especially, and you might be right, Tehran, like in the fact that the very little bit we do know about Van, one of the things that has been hammered home is she is a teacher. Like, that's what she does for a living.
Exactly.
And we already know how stressed out Ern is from not making money and not sure what he can do next. And luckily he set up an investment for himself. We'll see if the investment from the dogfight pans out.
Oh, yeah.
It would kind of be cool if, I like the idea of having these kind of loose leaf episodes up front and then all the things we've seen kind of because we still got murder charges potentially. A lot
Pending.
has happened.
You're right.
But it just hasn't connected yet. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I do hope that comes back around. I mean, a trial would not necessarily be bad for Paperboy's career. We see a lot of rappers go to prison and then blow up, you know? I just, so much could happen. I'm excited to see any of it happen. Like whatever direction they want to take, I trust the writers and the crew of this show to deliver it well. But I haven't seen anything like this, so I don't know.
Do you guys have any thoughts?
I don't know. I never have a prediction because I cannot predict anything.
Audience, you can feel free to throw
I know.
out predictions.
Somebody,
I do love
you know what?
this.
Somebody said up there, I don't know who it was,
East Blue Drew.
but
Killing
it was like
East Blue Drew.
Okay,
East Blue Drew.
what is it?
East Blue Drew.
East Blue Drew said, "Do you guys think that Paperboy and Vanessa would get together? I think it would be
No.
a great
No,
I love
dynamic."
it.
No, I know
Never.
that will never happen.
Never.
You know why? Because hood
That
value.
is so
You
crazy.
want to know about value? Hood value. Never, ever,
right.
ever get with your boy's girl ever. No matter
That
what.
is
Like
crazy.
Paperboy would
true.
if Ern and Van stopped talking, Paperboy wouldn't even talk to Van like that. Like it would just be
here's,
further
here's
down.
all
Yeah.
I know. I would read it in a fan
I have
fiction,
faith in
but if I saw it
Paperboy.
on
He
screen,
follow
I would
code.
flip a table. Because it would be weird. I don't think they really like each other. It's one of those
I know.
things that's a fun
It doesn't matter
relationship
if you
to
like
ponder.
each other or not. In fact, you can stop liking your boy's girl because you kind of like her. You know what I'm saying? Like you hate her because like there's
You have
no
to
spark.
do that.
I feel
Yeah.
you.
cold,
I
bro.
feel
See?
you.
It's so funny though.
It's an interesting dynamic. I just don't want to see it.
Do you think the show would ever challenge hood values? Do you think ever we would see that explored?
I don't think so. And I mean, they may talk about it, but I've seen Paperboy adhere to hood values every single time. There is honestly an honor amongst thieves that a lot of like mainstream America doesn't understand or doesn't see or
What are you
doesn't
saying,
get.
Cameron?
I'm saying it's just like a thing. It's like there's an honor amongst thieves that I've seen that's even more honorable than people who others find honorable.
Yeah.
Like there's an actual like there's a loyalty
Yeah.
and there's a truth and a sincerity amongst
They were doing for a sacrifice. When people are willing to sacrifice for each other unflinchingly, it's
Ride or
it's-
die, Joelle.
Yes,
Well-
exactly
hey,
that.
ride or die, not just ride in luxury, Rhelin.
First of all, before we go, I want to say shout out to all my Jades
He
and
trying to
shout
get
out to
everybody
all my
riled up today.
Vanessas because we are one. Okay,
I like that.
Great.
I like
I am
that.
both. I'm half and
That's
half.
nice. All right. I've been Joelle Monique. You can find me every week at Black Girl Grid. We are wrapping up, running our time. And this is the panel. They were great. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Joelle. You're killing that
I
late
know.
as always. Guys, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who are watching on BHL or watching on AfterBuzz, I know I'm always explaining it, but there are two shows. Watch both. I'm Jeff Graham. You guys can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. I'm also reviewing NBC's The Good Place on Thursdays.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very different from the show, but equally funny, so you should check it out.
Yes, I'm DeAnJilo. Follow me at DeAnJilo TV on Twitter. Follow me at DeAnJilo Instagram. Went to the class yesterday. They reminded us we have an audio audience. That's why I'm going to spell my name.
Oh.
DeAnJilo. That's how you spell it. Look me up. Follow me. And that's all I got. Oh, we're using a live chat. We're going to do that every episode now. Got it right here on my phone. If you guys have questions or want to comment in any way, please do so. We'll try to incorporate it in the show.
And I am Rhelin Taylor. You can find me on Twitter at Ray Taylor Gang. And I also recap Younger on Thursdays at 11. Yes. So tune into that. It's very different than the show as well. More Sex in the City and cute.
And before I get to me, I want to thank Alexis behind the scenes for being the sixth member that we don't always get to see. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being you and doing what you do.
Love ya.
And so what I do is I'm here with AfterBuzz doing the Atlanta After Show, and also I have Headline with Headliners, which is also on Tuesdays. So please make sure to tune in. I'm also at the Laugh Factory every Monday and Thursday at 10, which are my shows. Find me, love me, like me, hate me at I Am Tehran. You know where it is.
He invites it all. Also, a quick reminder, if you're listening to us on the iTunes, rate us. That helps us know what you guys like. If you don't like it, maybe keep it to yourself. That's okay. We're checking you guys on YouTube, and we love you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next week.
You know, I'm not in that.
Producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you
The
later.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.